My name is Alina, and my life changed forever on a rainy Monday afternoon. I used to believe that life only changed in slow, gentle ways, the kind that creeps in silently, one small decision at a time, like how coffee turns cold while you scroll through your phone, or how you wake up one day and realize you no longer miss the person who left. I never imagined that one moment could rearrange everything, but that's exactly what happened. Before that day, my life was simple, predictable. I was 29, living alone in a small apartment in Portland. I worked as a receptionist at a dental clinic 5 days a week. I liked quiet mornings, soft sweaters, old books, and almond milk lattes from the corner cafe. I wasn't unhappy, but I wasn't really living either. My days blurred together in a slow rhythm of repetition. I didn't mind, or maybe I'd just grown used to the stillness. It was a Monday like any other. I woke up late, burned my toast, spilled oatmeal on my favorite blouse. I missed my bus and had to run the last 3 blocks in the rain. By the time I got to work, I was damp, frustrated, and convinced the universe was playing a joke on me. It wasn't until around noon that the real storm began. The front door of the clinic swung open, bringing in a gust of wet air and a man I didn't recognize. He looked older, maybe in his early 50s. His coat was soaked, his salt and pepper hair plastered to his forehead. He looked like someone who hadn't slept in days. He clutched a folded piece of paper in one hand. I stood from my desk, offering a polite smile. "Hi there, can I help you?" He hesitated. I'm looking for someone," he said. "Her name's Alina. I was told she might work here." I felt my heart pause. "That's me." He stared at me. And then so softly I almost didn't hear it, he said, "I'm your father." My legs went numb. I stared at him, completely frozen. My father was dead. That was what I'd been told my whole life. He died in a car accident when I was 2 years old. That's what my mother told me. There was never any question, never any mention of a funeral or photo or memory. Just absence, silence. "I know this is a shock," he said, his voice trembling. "I didn't know how else to find you. I tried for years. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I felt the ground shift beneath me." He held out the paper. It was an envelope. Old, yellowed, edges worn, postmarked in 2000, my 5th birthday. Inside was a letter, written in shaky handwriting. "To my sweet Alina, happy birthday, angel. I wish I could be there. I hope you're laughing and playing and safe. I miss you every single day. One day I hope you'll understand. And maybe, forgive me. Love, Dad." I could barely breathe. "I'm not here to cause trouble," he added. "I just needed you to know I'm alive, and that I never stopped trying." He turned, stepped back into the rain, and disappeared. That night, I sat in my apartment with the letter spread across my lap, trembling. The questions rushed in. Kept meeting, sometimes for coffee, sometimes for long walks. He told me about his regrets, how he never stopped carrying the guilt, how he spent years wondering if I was safe, happy, if I hated him. "I thought about you every day," he said once. "I always hoped I'd see you again before I died." I started inviting him to small parts of my life, lunch breaks, Sunday walks. We started texting, small things at first, then photos, jokes. One rainy afternoon, I invited him to my apartment. He brought an old toolbox and fixed the cabinet door that had been broken for months. He handed me the screwdriver and smiled. "Now you won't have to kick it shut every time." I laughed for the first time in days. Months passed. My mother and I talked again. It wasn't easy. There were tears, yelling, silence. But eventually, we reached a place where we could both be honest. "I was scared," she admitted. "Scared you'd see the good in him and forget the bad." "I didn't forget," I said, "but I deserved to see both." She nodded. "I just hope he doesn't disappoint you again." I hope so too. On Father's Day, I stood at David's front door with a box in my hands. Inside was a mug I'd painted myself. "Number 1 Dad," the kind a kid might give in 3rd grade. He opened it slowly. His hands shook. "I've waited almost 30 years to get something like this," he whispered, tears in his eyes. He hugged me, and this time I hugged him back fully. Today my life looks the same on the outside. I still work at the clinic. I still drink almond lattes and read old books. But inside, everything is different. I have a father again. And I have the truth. We still talk every Sunday. He shows up for me now in quiet ways, fixing things, bringing soup when I'm sick, listening without trying to solve everything. He missed so much of my life, and yet, somehow, he's here for the parts that matter most. I still love my mother. I always will. She was my rock, my constant. She did what she thought was best. But I love David too, not for the father he couldn't be, but for the one he is now. Because sometimes life doesn't change gradually. Sometimes it changes in one single, impossible, unforgettable day. And that day gave me back a piece of myself I didn't even know was missing. Like a storm. Had my mother lied? Why? Who was this man and why now? I picked up the phone and dialed my mum. My hands were still shaking when she answered. "Mum," I said, "he came to see me today." Silence. "Who?" she asked, but her voice gave it away. She already knew. "My father," I said. "He's not dead." There was a long pause. Then she sighed, long and tired. "No, he's not." I closed my eyes. "Why did you lie to me my whole life?" "I didn't want you to hope," she said. "I didn't want you to wait for someone who didn't come. He left us, Alina. He chose his addiction over you, over everything. I told you he was dead because, in every way that mattered, he was." Tears burned behind my eyes. I didn't know what hurt more, the lie or the reasons behind it. "I needed the truth," I whispered. "I was trying to protect you." I hung up. I didn't sleep that night. I kept rereading the letter, trying to find the man behind the words. I thought about his eyes, tired but full of something I couldn't name. Regret? Hope? The next day I found his name in the clinic's visitor log, David Marks. I searched him online. He lived 2 towns over in a small one-bedroom house, no social media, no criminal records, just a man, quiet, hidden. 3 days later, I emailed him. We met at a small cafe near the waterfront. He was already sitting when I arrived. He looked even older in the daylight, thinner, nervous. He stood up when I walked in. "Alina," he said. I sat across from him and said nothing. "I want to be honest with you," he began. "I was a mess when you were born. Your mum was strong. She gave me every chance to fix things, but I didn't. I was drinking. I'd disappear for days. She had to leave. I don't blame her." "You never tried to find me?" I asked. He flinched. "I did, I swear. I got sober a year after she left. I wrote letters, sent birthday cards, gifts, but nothing came back. She blocked me out. I didn't know where you were." I believed him. I didn't want to, but I did. We met again a week later, then again. He started telling me about himself, about the woodshop job he worked part-time, the sobriety meetings he still attended, the garden in his backyard he kept filled with roses, because my mum once said they were my favourite. I didn't forgive him overnight. I wasn't even sure what forgiveness looked like. But something shifted. I saw myself in him, in the way he fidgeted with his napkin, in the shape of his eyes. I saw the man he might have been, the man he was trying to become, and slowly I began to let him in. The hardest part wasn't meeting him, it was telling my mother. When I told her I'd seen him again, she broke down. "I gave you everything I had," she said. "I worked 2 jobs. I gave up everything to make sure you never missed a birthday or a school play or a meal. And now, you're choosing him." "I'm not choosing anyone," I said. "I just want to know the truth. I want to know myself." She didn't speak to me for 2 weeks after that.